Deep in a dark alley, an investigator reloads their pistol as he moves from shadow to shadow, following a group of gutter punks about to break open their smuggling operation and perhaps bring some light to these drab streets. In an office building far above the surface, a woman jacks into the network of the shadiest corp, ready to gather all their dirtiest secrets and expose them for the whole world to know. Class is up once again. In this episode, we look at the Investigator. But before we do, be sure to subscribe and click that bell if you like this kind of content. I leave the like and dislike up to you. Just drop the feedback. It's greatly appreciated. All social media links down below for myself as well as Dragon Turtle Games, the fine creators of this beautiful cyberpunk RPG set in our own timeline. And the beautiful sounds you hear in the background, as always, Syrinscape. Click that website link. Check them out for all your tabletop gaming needs. Now for the Investigator. Information is key. Every city has its share of people willing to look through the filth for answers to questions that are often best left unanswered. Most of these people are chewed up and spat out by the streets they claim to know. Only a few make it big. Life on the streets is tough. Exposing and discovering all manner of sordid secrets would leave most jaded and cynical. Investigators, while hard-boiled, are no exception to this. As remember, when you're creating your Investigator, please be sure to converse with your GM. There are so many different ways to flavor a character, simply with backstory alone. Were you a vigilante serving your own ends? Have you angered any of the crime syndicates of the city? If so, how did you anger them? Why did you anger them? If not, whose good side are you on? Do you have anybody's good side you're on? Why do you hunt such secrets? Wealth, fame, something else? So many different ways to flavor it. Jumping right into the hit points. 1d8 per level, and at first level is 8 plus your Constitution modifier. At higher levels you get 1d8 or 5 plus your Constitution modifier. Next up we talk about your proficiencies. Off the jump you get light armor and medium armor, melee weapons, pistols, and shotguns. Your saving your saving throw is reflex. Choose 4 skills from the following listed below. Feel free to pause at any time on your screen to get a better grip in case I'm moving too fast. Next up is your overall proficiency table. You can see here at 1st through 10th levels your proficiency bonuses as well as some of the features that we're going to go to in more detail as we take a look further into the Investigator. The big chunk is, of course, at 3rd level. This is your archetype, your specialization. Now, there's going to be a couple of choices here. The first one we're going to get into is the Investigative Journalist. Investigative reporting, okay? News is everywhere, real or fake. Live chats and dead blog posts. But people deserve to know the truth or whatever version of it suits you. That's where the Investigative Journalist comes in. Wherever there's a story of corporate corruption or criminal activity, they're there to expose it. Though most make powerful enemies due to the sheer amounts of dirt they have uncovered. First up is trained wiretapping, and this comes in at 3rd level, but every journalist knows how to do at least a little hacking. It helps to get to the bottom of all hidden works. At that 3rd level, you gain access to 2 of the exploits from the hacker class and 2 botnets. You gain the computer interface exploit and 1 other of your choice. Your saving throw for your exploits is 8 plus your proficiency bonus plus your tech modifier. Interesting how you now see in the Investigative Journalist will expand a little bit here in terms of grabbing pieces from the hacker. Very, very interesting. Next up is journalistic integrity. A journalist, you know how to ignore the bluster of those around you and can keep a cool head to remember the situation. Now this one comes in at 6th level, and here you have advantage on saving throws made against the frightened condition. Additionally, you can ignore attempts to intimidate you using the intimidation skill. Will come in handy, trust. Next up is dedicated. At 9th level, you gain proficiency in mind-saving throws. You have learned how to focus through even the worst of traumas. Now, if you already have proficiency with mind-saving throws, you instead gain proficiency with fortitude saves. If you're already proficient in both mind and fortitude, increase your hit point maximum by 2 per character. And last up is get to the bottom of this. You know how to get your hands on secrets that others would rather keep buried, either through hacking their security software or through advanced interrogation techniques. This is endgame stuff here, people. At 10th level, you gain 2 more botnets and learn the Master Ghosting and Master Computer Interface exploits from the Hacker class. Interesting combos. Always be sure to confer with your GM. This could be a very hybrid built class. And the second archetype is the Private Investigator. Every day, someone in the city gets into trouble way above their pay grade. Kids go missing, kidnapped by some shady gang, cops won't do anything. Hell, maybe they're in on it. Only one place to turn. The PI, the Private Investigator. First up in the PI is the bonus proficiency. The street has taught you a trick or two, and you play fast and loose with your hands. You gain proficiency with investigation and sleight of hand. If you already have proficiencies in either of these skills, then your proficiency bonus is doubled with that skill. It would come in very, very handy. Next up, we talk about preferred mark. You are an expert at tracking and following particular individuals. Now this one comes in at 3rd level, but you can choose a particular group with which you are an expert about. Following examples are civilians, corporate, criminal, synthetics, machines. You gain advantage on intelligence, tracking in parentheses, to follow your chosen target in intelligence, investigation in parentheses, to tell information about your mark's activities. Here again at 9th level, you gain an additional preferred mark. If you successfully hit a creature which is one of your marks, you may accurately follow that creature within a 1-mile radius. Only one creature may be subject to this effect at a time. It ends when the target gets outside of the 1-mile radius, the target becomes incapacitated, or you take a long rest. Next up is, can I talk to you for a minute? Of course, you are a wordsmith. You are an expert in talking your way into and out of areas that you don't belong. This one comes in at 6th level. You gain advantage on presence, deception, and disguise. All of these checks makes to hide or alter your identity. Next we'll talk about killer instincts. This is 9th level. You know more than you ever thought possible about your preferred marks. Starting at that 9th level, you gain +2 bonus to hit and +2 bonus to damage dealt against your marks. Last up in the PI is the Expert Shadow. You have learned to hide in and move between shadows with ease. Starting at 10th level, you gain proficiency with the Stealth skill. If you already have this proficiency, the bonus is doubled, and you can take the hide action as a bonus action. Additionally, making range attacks while hidden only reveals your location. The attacks hit. Now, we're going to go through and cover some additional levels, some features not covered by the broad expanse of your archetypes. First up here at level 1, you'll have Nose for Trouble. You may use your bonus action to determine a creature's weakness and blind spots, and broadcast this info to your allies. Choose creatures that you can see within 60 feet of you. The next time an ally makes an attack, that creature, they have advantage on the attack roll. Next up is Watchful Eye. You have honed your sense over countless investigations. Starting at 1st level, you cannot gain disadvantage on investigating, perception, or tracking checks that rely on sight unless blinded. Next up is Expertise. At 2nd level, choose 2 of your skill proficiencies, or 1 of your skill proficiencies and 1 of your tools proficiencies. Proficiency bonus is doubled for any ability check you make that uses either of the chosen proficiencies. Good old Expertise. Next up, as we've seen across the board with all of our other classes, Character Improvement. 4th level, and again at 8th level, you can increase 1 ability score by 2, or 2 ability scores by 1. Next up is Sharp Instincts. Your instincts fire like a spark whenever things are about to go wrong. My spider sense is tingling. At 5th level, you have advantage on reflex saving throws against attacks and effects that cause physical harm. Additionally, creatures that are hidden from you do not gain advantage on attacks against you. To gain this effect, you must not be incapacitated. Now here's one of my favorites of all time. No sleep and a shot of whiskey. You have learned to function off the shortest rests before getting back to work. Also starting at 5th level, you reduce the amount of sleep you need to complete a long rest to 4 hours per day. That's right, a long rest for the Investigator is 4 hours a day. After resting in this way, you gain the same benefits that anyone else does from 8 hours of sleep. Similarly, you only need 10 minutes for a short rest. That could come in very, very handy. Last up is deductive reasoning. This comes in at 7th level, but you've learned to work backwards through a crime scene, making logical jumps that elude others. At 7th level, once per day, you may make a DC 15 mind saving throw about a crime or investigation. On a fail, you stretch yourself too far and are stunned for 1 minute, as your mind tries to calculate too many possibilities. On a successful save, you can ask the GM up to 5 questions. You must ask your questions within the next minute. The GM answers each question with one word, such as yes, no, maybe, never, irrelevant, unclear. If a one-word answer would be misleading, the GM might instead offer a short phrase as an answer. You regain this ability at the end of a long rest. Now, this one is going to be up for debate with your GM on how and how often they will answer these. I shouldn't say how often, I should say the length of their response, right? Supposed to be one word, such as yes or no or maybe, or it could be short phrases. Please confer with your GMs. And that's going to wrap it up pretty much for the Investigator. I hope you enjoyed all of this. We got one more in the series, The Scoundrel, which is going to be coming to you very soon. Be sure to subscribe and click the bell if you like this kind of content to get notifications when stuff goes live. See all the social media links down below, including that beautiful Syrinscape link down there. All your tabletop gaming needs. Sound effects, voices, music, ambiance, everything. They're just amazing. Whether you're playing fantasy, sci-fi, or cyberpunk, anything in between. They got a ton of stuff that you'll be more than happy. Trust, I use it all the time. Alright, all you real rats, cool cats. Stay safe out there, Chumbas, and we'll see you next time.